I just came in and I'm just sitting here thinking about. I went out into the garden, cleaned up a number of the trees. The peach tree got them somewhat under control, and it felt good doing that because the peach trees were growing out of control. The cherry trees, they're they have to be monitored. They grow a lot. I mean, because let me explain something to you. If you take a cherry tree and you cut a lot of it back to say keep it down to size and also keep it from encroaching into an aisle or something or your neighbor's property, they don't like to be cut uh, at one time. A great deal be cut off of them because what they do when you cut a cherry tree um, and you cut too much off or you cut a great deal off at one time. Let me just say that you cut a great deal off at one time, it will send a whole bunch of branches out all at once, and it will create a entanglement in that tree that you don't want to really deal with, and that's what it does. Um, it sends out what we call a flush of growth to protect itself, and it produces berries on that growth, which in turn carries a seed. So that's what it does. I mean, a cherry tree does that. Now, a peach tree will do the same, but not is it has nothing on how much a growth that a cherry tree will just flush all out at one time. It will do that. I mean, I don't know how many cherry trees I have now. One, two, three, four, five. Yeah, about five. And the trees, each one that I've done a great deal of pruning to, I had to pay for it next year because they just sent out all these shoots everywhere, and I just said, okay, don't do that anymore. Uh, I have another tree that I got to look at in the yard. It's got a lot of beautiful, healthy spurs on it. It's my pear trees, and and the thing about it is the pear tree is 20 feet tall, so I had to go and cut it back today. I actually cut it back today, and I have a lot of beautiful growth in my yard. A lot of beautiful growth, a lot of weeds and things that are there, and I had to pull some a lot of vines out of some trees, and people say, well, what do you do with all that stuff? Some people bag it up and throw it away. I know better than that. You don't do that. You pull it down, and pretty soon here in Maryland, the zone we live in, maybe we're gonna get some snow soon. We're gonna get some rain or something soon. And what that does to all of that growth is it first it'll mat it down to the ground, and then the biology in the soil will do the rest. I do not work against nature. I just don't do it. Now, when the summer and spring come, yeah, I keep my grass cut, and this year I'll do a better job on cutting the garden because last year I got some tools stolen from me, which I mentioned that on a couple of my shows. Someone went in and actually stole a trimmer. It was professional grade trimmer, and it was one of the best ones. It was the best one I've ever owned. I think I had it maybe. I want to say 2 months. I might have had it 2 months. But at any rate, they stole it, and so what I'm going to do this time around, excuse me, is I have cameras on my property, and on that particular day, I had the camera in that area that was down. That was my mistake. But at any rate, cutting the grass, cutting the weeds with trimmers and leaving the residue on the ground is the best way, one of the best ways to build your soil as opposed to going out and getting wood chips. Now, wood chips is a great thing to get if you have the time and the wherewithal and the health and all to move around all those heavy chips. because I have videos up where I've had close to 20,000 pounds of wood chips on my property and had to move them by myself. Would I want to do that again at any time? No, I would not want to do that. So now what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing now. I am working on chop and drop. Been doing it for the last 3 years. I like it. The residue from my garden when it grows, whether it be what they call them, cucumbers, squash, whatever the plant. When I take all my items from those plants, I leave the vines and everything right there where they are. They tell you, oh, get rid of this and bag it up and take this and throw it away and all that stuff. Okay, when corn grows, I take all the corn down. I leave the stalks right there on the ground. When spring and summer come in, I can't find those stalks anymore. I can't find them. I cannot find them. The some of the fruit that I leave on the plants that may rot accidentally, I leave them there, and I come back next spring and summer, and they're gone. So, is that something that benefits the soil? Does it look good? No, not necessarily, but it definitely benefits the soil because my soil grows everything a lot better than it ever did before. When I first bought this property, it did not do well. When I planted things, I didn't know what I was doing. I was following the books I got about gardening. I was following advice I was getting at the garden stores. And now at the garden store was interesting because all they kept telling me was, they said, well, what's wrong? I said, well, I'm trying to grow vegetables, and thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you. If the other three people did a thumbs up, that would surprise the heck out of me if all of them did a thumbs up. And it was like 4 thumbs up right there. I've never had that happen before. But the thing about, oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay. But the thing about it is when I started gardening, they were giving me advice, and they were in the stores, they were saying, he said, what's the problem you have? I said, well, I'm growing things, but they don't grow, or they grow too small, and the tomatoes don't do well. And he said, oh, what you need is this over here. And he gave me a bag of soil conditioner. And the soil conditioner was interesting. When you read the bag, all it is the leaves that we throw away every year. They process them into a compost and they sell them back to you. So I don't want to do that. I cut the middleman out and I just get my own leaves and spread them out all over the ground, leave them there, and by spring and summer they're gone. Or if they're still there, I just pull them to the side a little bit and put my plant there, leave them alone. And that will make for a beautiful, beautiful, loomy soil that's really rich and full and fertile. So, okay, so I got tired of the people in the gardening stores getting over on me. I kept buying bags of this and bags of that, and I had no idea what I was doing when I first started gardening. And I remember loading up at Walmart cow manure that was in the bags, and I would open the bags. I'm looking at this stuff, and I was like, "What is this? Is it mud? Is this a get over?" Because it didn't look right to me. And it was like what was it, like $1.40, something like that, a bag. And then I saw it go up from that to $3 and all. And I saw this, and I said, "Wait a minute, I cannot keep up. Number one, with this cost of this garden." Then they had the water bills here in Maryland go up. And then they give the water bills to us now monthly. That's interesting. So once all this started taking place, I saw fertilizers go up, seeds go up. I saw all the products that are at the box stores go up. I saw the water cost go up here in Maryland. Dramatically, it went up. So I said, okay. And I got to thinking, is this going to be cost effective doing this gardening thing? And then I got to thinking about what would be the benefits. Well, I said you will be eating better food. When you grow a garden, you can eat better food. The food you're getting at the grocery store, I call it factory food. It's grown fast. They, you know, do everything to it to make it look good and grow fast, and that's about it. That's all it has to do. It does not have to be nutritional. It does not have to be full of a tomato in 1950 held more vitality to it for your body than one today. And how is that? Because of the way that they're being grown in the soils that are being depleted in those big factories. They are not farms, they're factories. And so their only job is to grow it and have the fruit look good, be firm. And so they get these seeds and they use these seeds and they produce this product. And this product is only got to look good, doesn't have to, it don't have to be nutritional for you or your kids or anything. It does not have to be that way. All you have to do is buy a tomato at the grocery store, bite into it, and tell me if that tastes like a tomato to you. I'm not making this stuff up. I have eaten tomatoes from my property and noticed the difference. Filled with all of the sugars and beautiful balance of flavors and all that came from leaves. It came from the weeds and all that stuff I was cutting back and chopping, dropping, and all that. That's where it came from. All that flavor. Soil minerals that, like I have clay soil, and clay soil is a very fertile type. Well, not fertile, but it has a lot of minerals in the soil, and that's really good for fruits and vegetables to grow. It definitely gives them an edge. So I looked at that and I looked at the cost of the water going up, and then I said, wait a minute. So I'm looking around at videos and saying water in your garden, water in your garden. I happened to stumble across this guy. He had water growing. He had water he was getting off of his roof, and he called it water barrels that are around your property. And I watched different videos. I kept watching these videos and became infatuated with water systems that when it rained can fill them up, and and these people had pumps and things on it hooked up to it that allowed you to move the water around the property. And I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, wow. I said, wonder what this costs to get into. So I started researching it, and the parts to a lot of those rain barrel systems were expensive. Didn't even make sense for that stuff to cost that much. And I said, there's got to be a better way. They showed people cutting up barrels and putting in, they called them faucets and things of that nature. And they said the problem with some of them is mosquitoes and things that hang around these barrels. And then they showed a gentleman. It was a gentleman on there. He had four 55-gallon barrels. He simply took 3/4 inch PVC piping. He tied it into the fixtures that were already on the 55-gallon drum. He put them up on cinder blocks, and I watched that video over and over and over and over and over again. And I watched what he did. All he did, 3/4 inch PVC pipe. He tied in, let's see, what was the older 1 year. Oh, okay, yes, absolutely. Oh my goodness. Finally, I tied in the rain barrel. It was exciting. Now I'm waiting on rain, and the barrels are tied in. I got the barrels real cheap. I think I paid like my neighbor gave me one, and then I bought one for like $5, and it was food grade. I remember that, and because they kept saying get the food grade ones, and then the pump was expensive to get. It was a one gentleman showed me he had his pump hooked up to his water barrels. He had 100-pound PSI. It was called an on-demand pump made by SureFlow, and SureFlow was supposed to be a very good company for producing a 12-volt motor that would, pump, excuse me, that would be able to move that water around on the property. So I looked and looked and looked. I went on eBay and I bought the pump. I was excited. Got the pump. It was a heavy, very solid built pump. And now I'm getting all the pieces together. I got the two. I actually had two. Hey, how you doing there, my brother? How you doing? I got the two. The system set up to 2-barrel, 55-gallon drums. I got them tied into the what they call it, the gutter. Got it tied into the downspout, and it started raining. And I remember going outside and I looked and I saw that it was raining. It was just an average rain. It wasn't nothing, not a lot of rain or anything. And I went over and put my ear to the drums. I heard the water falling inside of them. I heard them filling up. And I said, "Oh man, this is nice. This is nice." And it filled up the rain for about half an hour, 45 minutes. And I went over to the drums and both of them were completely full. And I was amazed by how fast they filled up. Well, the amount of surface on my roof, it picks up a lot of water and it just filled those tanks up. And then I cut on the pump. I had it hooked up to a 100-foot water hose. And I cut it on and it shot that water, had to be 20 feet from where the nozzle was. And it was a lot of pressure on it. And when you let go the handle of the faucet, the handle of the water hose, it would cut the water off. And I said, "Oh, that's what they mean by on demand. Once it reaches a certain pressure, it shuts the motor off." Now, I'm watering everything, and I had to get used to it because it's spraying on my plants right out of the ground and everything. And I'm saying, this is, I didn't count on this, but I wanted a 100-pound PSI pump because I got to thinking if I need the pump for other duties, I could use it. And I use it for washing the car. I was washing the car with rainwater. I had my neighbor come over. I said, "Come over and check this out. Check it out. Come here." He came over, and I'm washing the car with a pump hooked up to a system which was what they call it. You definitely pull the water. You definitely pull the solar panels hooked up to a battery, which was a deep cycle battery. That deep cycle battery was plugged up into a 100 PSI on-demand shore flow pump. And the unit was tied into the manifold that was connected to the tanks. I had two ball valves that I put in, one further out and one in the center of the two barrels. And I don't know why I did that, but I did it for some reason at that time. But I was washing the car and I was blowing leaves and I was blowing dust and things off of my car with that much pressure. And never have I ever had the battery go dead on the unit or anything like that. Because when I cut it off and the sun's going out there, it just charges it right back up. A big full unit full of voltage back up to 12.0 or 12.7 or something like that. And I said, this it can't be this easy to live this good. You're raising a garden. You're raising a garden. You're not paying for the water. You're not even paying for the seeds that you're using. Because if you wanted to, I was saving my own seeds and everything. I was getting 800 and 900 pounds of leaves from a contractor that when the leaves fall, he gets them off of people's property. I was getting my fertilizer right there. The fertilizer right there. I was getting the fertilizer. I was getting the water, the seeds, everything right there. So I was growing tomatoes, squash, cucumbers, beans, corn, and I wasn't paying for any of it. Only thing it took me was some labor. And that was it. Then came the fruit trees. Now I'm really ecstatic. I want to grow fresh fruit, apples that are not mushy, peaches that are not bruised, and everybody in the free world has been touching them in the market. I wanted fruit that was sweet, that was that you can make pies out of, that you could put them in ice cream and things like that. I wanted that. So I took myself and got up every morning at 5 a.m. in the morning, went to work, and put together the monies and funds that I needed to make this happen. And when I started buying the trees, I was addicted because my first job, my first thing I was going to do was just 2 trees. That was it. 2 trees is all I was supposed to have been getting originally. And that turned into 25. And I knew I had a problem. Every time I would get additional funds, I would buy a tree. I would say, wait a minute, I could use, yeah, I want the Honeycrisp apple tree. Or I want the Granny Smith. Wait a minute, what about the pink lady? And to my lady had to pull me back and say, wait a minute, where are you gonna put all these trees? And see, I had to deal with reality. Where are you gonna put all these trees at? Now, on my property, I do have room right now for another 25 trees if I wanted to push it. If I wanted to rule out the garden area where the vegetables are and just run all fruit trees there, I could do it. But I don't want that much fruit. I don't want that much fruit. I got that much fruit. Right now, one tree can produce a ton of fruit. That's the one single tree. And I have 25 of them. So what I'm trying to do is just get them figured out so that I can, they can be more reliable as far as producing fruit. And because I've seen some people, they don't even pay attention to their trees. They don't watch them, feed them, prune them or anything. And every year they get all the pears and apples they want. They don't do anything to these trees, nothing. But the trees are big and out of control though. So I can't. I'm obsessed with, I cannot have my tree 25, 30 feet tall. Well, mine won't get 30 feet tall because they're dwarfs, but they can get 20 feet tall. So I don't want my trees to get that big because that's just too much. I want my trees where they're manageable size. So at any rate, you take care of your trees, keep them cut down so you can always reach your fruit. And that's just my policy. For me, I want that. And then the tallest tree I have on my property right now is a pear tree, and its very nature is to grow tall. That's the way what it wants to do. And so I'm gonna keep on keeping it cut back. And I was out there today, like I said, doing some trimming, and I trimmed some of the cherry trees, and I trimmed some of the peach trees, and then the pear trees. I didn't touch any of the plum trees at all. I didn't touch them. Wait a minute. My grapevines, I forgot to do something with those. Yeah. It's fun growing trees. It is fun growing trees. It's fun. You buy it, comes in a box. You put it in the ground. And if it's a healthy tree, like the ones that and I'm not making an advertisement for them, even though I love their products. And that's called Stark Bros. I love their trees because they sell you something and it's what they said was in the box. And then wait a minute, they did sell me a couple small ones one time. And I called and complained. I said, these trees you sold me as Supreme. Supreme means they're just a thicker caliber tree. And I got them, and I'm obsessed. I measure around. I said, wait a minute, this is not 3/8 or whatever. I said, no, we're gonna do this way. And I called them up. They said, I'll tell you what we can. They said, tell you what we can do. We'll send you a couple trees. How does that sound? I said, yeah, okay. She said, what would you like? And I said, and I ordered the plum trees. Yeah. So that being said, I got grapevines, apple trees, pear trees, peach trees, pear trees. I think I said pear trees already. And then I have the other thing, which is blackberries. And I put in, I almost forgot that. I put in 2 blackberry plants today. And all they were cuttings right off of one. Blackberry grows up, it touches the ground, it produces a flower. Produces a plant, it roots itself. You just clip it off, You could pull it from the ground before it gets really anchored in, and and then once you do that, you go ahead and boom, you put it somewhere else. Now, I do have some. Uh, it's a fall raspberry growing in my property. I'm trying to get rid of it because it's getting real invasive, and it's got all these thorns all over. I didn't know it had that many thorns, so I should have went out there and dealt with that right there because it's the ground is perfect for me to do that. But I will deal with it because it grows up and does the same thing the blackberries do, and it leaves different plants a foot away, 3 feet away, 6 feet away, and it keep producing these plants to take over wherever you put it at. I do not want this sucker in my yard because for the last year or so, 2 years I guess, this is not producing berries that I really want to wait for, that I really want to deal with. So I said, the heck with this thing. This thing could go right now. I'm done with it. So the only ones I wanted the blackberries, and this year I'm going to try something interesting with my blackberries. I'm going to try taking care of them because I used to just put them out there because most of the time they'll grow on their own if you leave them out there. They'll do their own deal, but they won't give you a lot. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. And they'll do their own deal and they'll produce berries and everything like that on second year cane. I think it's second year cane, first year, second year cane. Because it'll grow the canes first, and then next year it'll give you on those canes. It'll send shoots out, and it'll give you blossoms, and then you got the berries. No big deal. But if you feed the blackberry, see that's what I want to try this year. What would happen if you feed the blackberry? Make certain that they get a decent meal every month or so, something like that, and feed them and see what happens with them. Um, Feeding your vegetable gardens without feeding your weeds on your property, that's something that a lot of people, it's quite challenging because when you go out there with that water can and it falls and it's like a 10 inch or 12 inch above, over around your plant, it's watering the grasses, the weeds, and everything. Um, they got something in Africa that they use. It's called micro dose. I think it's called micro dose fertilizing, and all they use this process to help build their farm produce and fruits in areas where the soil was virtually dead, pretty much dead. Um, and fertilizer there for a bag is very expensive. So, I mean, we take for granted because we go buy a bag of fertilizer might run us $10, $15. That same bag over there might run them $30 or $40. So they can't afford to be out there just sprinkling fertilizer all over the ground and watering and free feeding everything from what they mean to feed and also weeds and everything else. They don't want to do that. So um, they feed using a process called microdosing, and they only feed that plant they mean to feed. And it's interesting the way they do it. They drop the seed in the ground, and right next to that plant, they put a very small amount of fertilizer to that plant. And as the plant gets older, then they use a like a stick or like a rod, and they tap it in the ground, and they put just enough fertilizer for that week to fertilize that plant, not the weeds, not any of them next door plants that are kind of getting hungry. They just feed that one plant, and it was interesting how they did it. Their produce actually increased in the amount they were getting because not only were they not using a lot of fertilizer, which is very expensive, they were not raising the weeds on their property that would compete with their own plants. So I just thought it was interesting. All right. He said hello to everyone. Lead farmer. Yeah, I know he's gonna come up with some videos very soon where he can show you how his trees are doing and things of that nature. Because it's always fun to try to learn from everyone. That's my motto is to learn from every single person out there. Um, I want to see this year if my uh, asparagus will come back because I put them in. I grew them from seeds. I grew them from seeds. Them things was it was nice. I mean, they coming up. They were getting all thick and about as big as your thumb, and they were coming up. And I'm looking at them saying, "Hey, these were cheap to grow." Because when they try to sell you the root in the box stores, they sell them things for arm and leg. They give you a couple roots, and then they say, "Here, here's some roots, and $4 or $5 or whatever they want to charge for them." Because you get a head start on the plant. You know, you get an older root, it may live, it may die. I'm not giving nobody that kind of money for a root unless I really, 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 truly want that plant. But I knew I could wait. I said, no, what I would do is get a flat pan. I would go online. I've even bought some off of eBay. And I would say Maryland, no, it would be Washington variety of asparagus. I just like that variety. That's all. And I would sprinkle the whole thing over a tray, and I got them in my little greenhouse, and they would all start coming up, getting out of control. I got some videos of some of them I was growing. They were out of control. Those things. And then when I finally got to put them in the ground, um, they started just growing and growing and growing and growing. In the first year you can't eat none. The second year you can't really eat none. The third year they start showing you that they're going to be okay. And and then when they get older, they start producing this red berry that's on them. It's like a red berry. And now you're doing good because they're getting ready to produce their own plants. And when they do that, you set because they'll drop them berries and they'll hit the ground and some of them will survive. And then each year that patch will get bigger and bigger and bigger. And your initial investment was probably $2.50 just to buy the seeds. And once they start growing, you are set. Asparagus is a healthy food to eat. I mean, really a healthy food to eat. You know, uh, uh, so that's why I liked it. So much. So I'm gonna see if they come back this year. And if they come back this year, I think I'm gonna start taking care of them. Because you got to fertilize them every once in a while and make sure that that the weeds don't give them too hard a time in the areas that they're growing. It's not a big problem to do that, but I mean they come back. They come. I mean they come back. And I cut mine back. And don't try to eat all of them when they grow. Let some grow because some of them you grow on are females and males, and you don't want to be eating them all up and everything. And then they don't come back. You want to make sure you leave some there. Eat the biggest and the strongest ones, and don't eat too many of them until you get a whole big patch. Then you can eat all you want. But asparagus grows from seeds. They sell them on eBay. Washington is the one I bought. I like Washington because it produces its own seeds that I know of produces its own seeds, and it's a great thing. Uh, Wait a minute, hold up. Let's see. My wife. Your wife grew asparagus. Oh my goodness, that's all right. That is all right. Wait a minute, let me get that in my head now, because I grew mine from seeds. That little berry. I never ate them though. I never ate them because I kept thinking they were poisonous or something. Um, but they grow all of these. When you open them up, they got all these seeds in them. Okay, that's what I'm glad to hear that they will spread because they were dropping those berries on my property, and I let them. I let them because I said, I want these things. Yeah, asparagus is delicious. I used to have mine with I used to steam them and have them with like butter or something. I know I'm not supposed to be eating all that butter, but I liked it liked it that way. But asparagus, pork chops, what they call that stuff, not macaroni and cheese, but uh, potatoes, potatoes. Oh, I want you guys to do me a favor this year. If you plan on doing any potatoes, white potatoes, the package says you can bury these things up to um, 4 inches deep. Try 8. I ain't gonna say wow, just try 8. Try 8 inches deep. Put them in the ground. It's gonna take them a little longer to come up, but put them in the ground. Put them in the ground. Loosen the ground up all around them now. Put them 8 inches down. Don't put them 4. Put them 8. I'm trying to get you stuck like I got stuck last year. I had more potatoes than I knew what to do with. And I said, "Oh, come on!" And they just kept coming up and coming up and coming up. And I said, "Oh, they swole the ground up. They made the ground heal up." I'm trying to get y'all to go through the same thing. Yeah, now look at this. I mean, I like this. These people, and I see you say, no, oh, I'm glad. Okay, I'm glad that wow, you guys got the same experience. You got the gentleman there, few food farmers, permaculture, and he has experience with asparagus. You got lead farmers 73. He said, you know that hey, they spread around. I mean, that's what I want. I want asparagus to spread around. Listen to me. Listen, they're a high dollar vegetable. Asparagus. When you go in the store and try to get them, you can get them. You're gonna pay for them. You're gonna pay for them, and they're gonna be kind of soggy, and they're not gonna be like what you would get right out. I used to go out in the evening. I'm fixing my dinner. It could be pork chops or whatever, and I would go start harvesting my asparagus. And they go right from where they are being grown, and I just chop, 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 and I put them right in there. What I'm going to put them in a soup or whatever, and and I just do my thing. That's how I do it. I make it do what it do, and that's what I do. But when you're getting food, think about it. You get food that's high dollar food, and you are getting it, and it tastes great, and it's fresh, and you're getting it for pennies. The grocery stores hate you guys when you guys are growing all that stuff. They hate that because now their stuff is stuck in the store. Its price is marked up high, and the only people who will who will pay those prices, are people who say, "Oh, I'm not going out in the yard growing nothing. I don't feel like it. Yeah, I don't. I just don't want to do it. It just, I don't know. It just, it's. I'm not doing that. I'm not a farmer. But me, I got out of that habit 18 years ago. When I first put seeds in the ground, there were cucumbers and tomatoes and beans. When I did that and saw what came back, my return, I took those cucumbers to work, and the ladies would say, "Oh, thank you." And I was looking at them and saying, "They really like this vegetable thing." And then I realized that women lived longer because they primarily eat differently than the males do. Most of the males do. They eat vegetables and they eat fruit, and they go see the doctor. But they eat better. Is my point. And when I saw that, I said, I went into the grocery store. I said, I want to learn how to do this. And I started going and I started buying all this fruit and vegetables and things. And I remember the doctor said, no, 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 not in the can. And I said, well, what's wrong with the can stuff? He said, it's full of salt, sodium. He said, you'd be better off if you just buy what's frozen in a bag. So I go buy the stuff in a bag and I get it home No, I go by and I'm skipping something here. And the price is just these little tiny little bags of asparagus and tiny bags of Brussels sprouts, and they're marked up like crazy. And I'm thinking, look at this. How can you afford to eat like this? So what I did, garden. And the garden allowed me to learn where my food comes from. And it also allowed me to relax in the garden and allowed me to get fresh food, fresh, absolutely fresh food from the garden. And it just felt so good and so natural. And then I got hooked on it, where I love the way a tomato tasted. And I love the way a cucumber, when you bite into it, it crackles and it and that smell from the cucumbers, that wonderful fresh aroma of a cucumber, a fresh cucumber. And then you walk through the garden and you go over to near where the peach trees are and you smell the blossoms and you see the beautiful orange and red peaches on the tree. Something you've never seen before because you were raised in the city. And you set it up and you did this and you watched what you were doing and you paid attention and you learned how to do this. And now the trees are responding. And you look over, right across from your peach trees are your blueberry bushes. And then across the other side of the yard, your raspberries are growing. Wow. You look at them. Then you look directly in front of you, about 40 feet, and there are your pears. Cross over to another 10 feet to your right. There you have your cherries. And the trees are full of cherries. And you're looking at all this and you're saying, how am I going to eat all of this? And then you think about something, you're pretty lucky because a lot of people would like to be in your shoes. And that's why I want to teach as many people about what I do. And my biggest thing about gardening is getting the, here's what I'm saying, get the highest quality of food possible from your earth where you live. The highest quality. Grapes that are sweet, grapes that are healthy, apples that taste, the taste is perfect, the right balance of minerals and sugars, and that's important to me. Not to grow things big and fast. That doesn't matter to me. I want the food to be at the highest quality that I can possibly grow it. That being said, you must know and understand your plants. What are they telling you? When you look at the leaves, when you look at the bark on the tree, what is it telling you? Am I healthy? Am I hungry? Do I need water? The plants will tell you if you know how to pay attention to what they're asking you. But to grow the highest quality of food, and the biggest thing is at cost. That's my whole thing. If you look at any of my videos and you look at anything that I've always said over the years that I've been on YouTube, and it's always been about cost. Because I believe that you can grow these fruits for nothing. Beautiful pieces of fruit, beautiful eggplant, beautiful squash, potatoes, corn, flawless grapes for free. I believe that. The grapevine that I have on my property. I was out there today, and I was getting ready to start taking cuttings. I think I might have took one cutting. No, I had it in my hand, and I didn't take the cutting. I don't think I took the cutting. And I have a grape on my property. It's called oh God, I can't remember. It's a white grape. It has no seeds in it, and it's considered to be a huge size grape. And that's why I bought it. and I'm going to grow it, and I'm going to take cuttings from it, and I'm going to see that I have at least, because I have right now on my property, which is sad for me, I have one, two, I have two grapevines. Wait a minute, no, three grapevines on my property. I have three grapevines on my property, and that's not like me. Now, the flame grape is one I'm thinking of adding to my collection. But I know that I want at least 4 different varieties of grapes. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, how many varieties of grapes do you have, if you don't mind me asking? Because I have two varieties. Two of the same thing because I couldn't, stand to kill the plant when I did a cutting and it started rooting on its own from laying on the ground. And I said, go ahead and put it in the ground and let it grow. And that's what I did. I grow all of my grapevines on a single stake system. I'm the only one on YouTube doing it, other than there is another guy that he's from the UK, and that's where I got the idea from originally. He grows grapevines on a single stake system. Rebar stuck in the ground, and he can grow different varieties 3 feet away from each other. And that's what I like about it. Oh, okay. That's what I'm doing. I plan on having at least 4 to 5 to 6 different variety of grapes, and they're gonna be 3 and 4 feet away from each other, apart, and they're gonna be on a single stake system, which is a piece of rebar stuck in the ground. You can paint it if you want to. You can paint it green if you want to. It's up to you. But a good thick piece of rebar stuck in the ground, half inch, I think is what they call it, half inch. And you put that in the ground. It's not going to bend. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to do like the green with the plastic over the 8-foot stakes that they got. You stick in the ground, and about a year, 2 years later, it rusts away. You don't want that. You want rebar. And grapes are a beautiful thing to have them on your property. Beautiful thing. Oh, I don't know if he passed away. I mean, because I'm looking at a video of him about a month ago, but I should have checked the date on it. He I think he owned like a nursery or something. Yeah. Oh, okay. Food forest permaculture. I like that name. Um, you obviously have been doing this for a while. How many years you been doing it? Oh, okay, natural arbor. hmm Yeah, 50 years. Wow, 50 years. Now, what would you recommend that people out there do to improve their soils? What would you recommend? My uh, way of dealing with soil is chop and drop. That's what I do because the weeds come up, the grass comes up, you chop it off. Okay, now, okay, this sounds interesting. Pathway Soil Bank. Never heard of it, but we're here to learn. Chop and drop. Awesome. Pathway Soil. Okay. Because see, you know something? Here's one thing, and I want to say this before I get off track with this. The most important thing any gardener can learn, and they won't tell you this in some of the books, and you know this too, Mr. Food Forest, permaculture. You are just primarily is to grow soil. Is to grow soil. That's the whole function, to grow soil. And that way you can grow what you need. Yes. All right. All right, good people. Got to go to work tonight, so I'm gonna call it. But thank you all for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Oh, wait a minute. I've been up here for an hour, almost an hour. I didn't know YouTube would let you make a video that long. Okay, well, thank you, good people. I appreciate you all. Thank you. Have a good day, a blessed one as well. Thank you.